These are the only two exercises you need for massive forearms. Are you aware that the forearm contains a muscle group that is often overlooked, with over 80% of men not knowing the proper way to train it? Many guys try to justify this negligence by saying that wrist size has genetic limits, that it can't be increased, that it's what you are born with. However, in reality, many of those who make this claim are simply too lazy to train their forearm muscles. And yes, it can be improved both in strength and muscle definition, just like any other muscle group in your body. It's very common to see guys at the gym giving total priority to other muscles they consider more important, like chest, biceps, triceps, and abs, but completely neglecting the forearms. Those who do this are missing out on a series of benefits, such as increased grip strength that improves your performance in practically all exercises involving holding weight, prevention of wrist and elbow injuries, the aesthetic balance of your arms as a whole, and we don't even need to talk about the aesthetic appeal. The forearms are muscles that are always on display, even when you wear a short-sleeved shirt. If you're one of those guys who trains to catch attention, know that a well-developed forearm is one of the body parts people notice most. Therefore, this video will guide you through the essential exercises you need to achieve massive forearms permanently. Forearm anatomy. First, you need to understand a bit about the anatomy of this muscle group. The forearm consists of three main muscle groups. The wrist flexors are located on the inner part of the forearm and are responsible for bending the wrist toward the inner part of the arm. They're the ones that provide that thickness to the underside of the forearm. The wrist extensors are located on the outer part of the forearm and are responsible for extending the wrist and lifting the hand upward. They provide that definition to the upper part of the forearm. The brachioradialis is the muscle that forms a ball on the outer side of the forearm near the elbow. It's responsible for elbow flexion when the forearm is in a neutral position. Now that you better understand the forearm structure, let's move on to the exercises that will truly make this region grow. Exercise 1. Wrist extensions. Wrist extensions are fundamental for developing the back of the forearm, that region that gives definition when you extend your arm. This exercise directly targets the forearm's extensor muscles, often overlooked yet crucial for comprehensive and balanced development. How to perform. You'll need a bench and a light dumbbell to start. Sit on the bench and rest your forearm on your thigh, leaving the wrist hanging off with your palm facing down. The dumbbell should be secure in your hand. From this position, you'll make a well-controlled movement, lifting just the wrist as high as you can, keeping the forearm fixed on your leg. It resembles waving goodbye to someone, but only the wrist is moving. Common mistakes. Using too much weight right away. This causes you to compensate with other muscles and not properly work the extensors. Performing the movement too quickly or using momentum, this drastically reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. Keep the movement slow and controlled, focusing on muscle contraction. Programming. For optimal results, I recommend doing 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions with a weight that allows you to complete all repetitions with good technique, but that becomes difficult in the final reps. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets. Include this exercise in your routine twice a week, preferably on days when you train back or shoulders, since the extensors are already somewhat recruited in these workouts. As you get stronger, gradually increase the weight, but never sacrifice technique. If you feel discomfort in your wrist during the exercise, reduce the weight and focus even more on correct execution. Remember that this is a smaller muscle group, so load progression should be more conservative compared to other larger muscles. Exercise 2. Wrist curls. Wrist curls are the main exercise for developing the flexors, the muscles on the bottom of the forearm that give that impressive thickness. These muscles are vital for grip strength, which will improve all your other gym exercises. How to perform. You'll basically do the opposite of wrist extensions. Sit on the bench and rest your forearm on your thigh, ensuring that your palm is facing upward this time. Hold the dumbbell, and while keeping your forearm immobile, lift the weight using only wrist movement, fully contracting the flexors at the top of the motion. Then lower the weight in a controlled manner to the starting position, allowing a beneficial stretch at the end of the movement. Common mistakes. The most common errors here are similar to those of extensions. Using excessive weight can compromise form and reduce effectiveness. Performing the movement quickly or using momentum can remove tension from the target muscle. Not completing the full range of motion, many also forget to contract the muscle at the top of the movement, which reduces the benefits. Letting the forearm move during the exercise, it should remain fixed on your thigh the entire time. Programming. The programming for wrist curls should be similar to that of extensions. Perform 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions using a weight that enables good form but becomes challenging during the final reps. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets. You can train the flexors on the same day as the extensors, also twice a week. Pro tip: a strategy that works very well is to do a superset, alternating between wrist extensions and wrist curls without rest between them, resting only after completing both exercises. This gives an incredible pump in the forearms and saves time. If you opt for this, reduce the weight a bit to maintain quality execution. These 2 exercises will already be enough to build forearms stronger than 99% of the guys at the gym. Secrets to maximize results. Number 1. Progressive overload. It's not enough to do a few sets and expect magical results. For your muscles to grow, it's essential to progressively overload them. This means you should challenge your forearms with more weight or more repetitions over time. Number 2. Consistency. Here, consistency is crucial. If you don't maintain a routine, you won't see the changes you desire. Train your forearms at least twice a week without fail. Number 3. Balanced training. Each of these muscles should be trained in a balanced way to avoid imbalances. Focusing on just one muscle will likely limit your strength and overall development. For example, working only the wrist flexors might leave the wrist extensors underdeveloped, which could cause weakness in your grip or even injuries in the long term. The brachioradialis is fundamental for improving grip strength and the ability to lift heavy weights, something that certainly interests you if you're looking to increase your overall strength. Number 4. Protein-rich diet. Maintaining a protein-rich diet is crucial. If you're not feeding your muscles properly, no matter how much you train, the results simply won't come. Be sure to include sufficient sources of quality protein, such as lean meats, eggs, fish, dairy, and legumes. Protein is the foundation for muscle repair and growth. This is one of the most common mistakes made by the majority of people who train. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. Holding the weights with just your fingers is a fun variation that increases forearm stimulus. And drop a comment telling me which exercise you're going to start with. And if you want more content like this type that actually works, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now get to work and build those forearms.